For the first time in 5 years, the Cincinnati Police Department may be looking to add officers. Another important component of bus safety is that the children realize that their behavior could be a distraction to the bus driver and could potentially lead to an accident. We're calling this 9-week series School Zone 9, and we'll have everything from silly ways to spruce up your child's lunchbox and the latest fashion. The highway is still shut down as it appears that police are still trying to clean things up. There's a lot of abandoned cars from people who got stuck in all this commotion. This week we've talked about weddings costing an average of $25,000, but if that's too far out of your price range, then consider taking a mini vacation to drastically lower the cost. I've only been out here for about 30 minutes and I'm already sweating. I look a mess. I have my sunglasses on. I don't know how these kids do it. Getting your child to wake up for school can be a hassle in itself, but what about getting them to eat breakfast? Chef Margie Potts is the owner of MJ's in Milford, and I hear you have some great grab-and-go breakfast items. I took to the streets and the web to find out if local parents are excited about the new school year, and believe me, the responses range from frustration about buying school supplies to a pure celebration of margaritas and fireworks. There are still a lot of unanswered questions, but what we do know right now is that a male victim was seen running onto the property of Children's Hospital, where he collapsed and eventually went unconscious. Of course, parents want their children to just say no, but now the adults are being asked to say no as well, as in know what they're talking about.
Do you remember what the one example was? And I said, I came home and asked you the question, what do you think bowling is? Do you remember that one?
Holly Morrish was surprised to learn that bowling has nothing to do with pins and strikes.
I guess it's like you go to parties or something, and then everybody puts like drugs they get at their medicine cabinet in a big bowl, and then they take them or something.
Morrish and her husband were able to talk to their 12-year-old son Luke about it thanks to a no tip.
All our Talawanda Middle School students receive the tip cards via email. In looking at our local data, we were seeing that there were some changes happening in terms of student use happening at an earlier age, which is happening around the nation as well.
The emails go straight to parents and include a variety of topics from drugs, alcohol, smoking, bullying, you name it.
It provides a wonderful tool for parents. It truly is a parent program.
Give you a way to start the conversation with your kids. It's hard sometimes. Some of those subjects are hard.
I didn't know who they were. Mom and Dad just talking to me. I didn't know that they were using tip cards.
And that's the goal. The Talawanda School District uses the program in association with Butler County and the Drug Free Action Alliance.
We know that the conversations are happening, which is key in terms of protecting our students from the risky behavior of substance use.
That you are letting your kids know that you care, that you're interested in what's going on in their life.
Morrish and her husband pick and choose which topics could apply to their family and then talk about them with the kids at dinner time. Even if you aren't in the Talawanda School District, you can sign up for the tip emails by going to the No website. We have a link to it on CincySchoolZone.com as well as WCPO.com, where you can get all the information you need on that topic. Catherine, back to you. This week we've talked about weddings costing an average of $25,000, but if that's too far out of your price range, then consider taking a mini vacation to drastically lower the cost.
Felice, Hawaii, California, North Carolina, Fiji.
Those are just some of the places wedding planner Rosie Cornice is seeing her clients travel to tie the knot.
It cuts back the costs for brides, so they're choosing destinations because they don't have to have, that guest list of 150 and so on.
You keep your guest list down, and you probably can do a very, very nice wedding for $10,000 to $12,000 for 40 guests.
Joyce Smith says such a great price works best with weddings in the Caribbean or Mexico.
The trend here, it's within a travel distance with their automobile, like to go to Gatlinburg or to go down to some location in Florida.
Well, people would joke all the time and tell us if we get divorced, then we owe them money.
Kelly and CJ Gunn got married along the beach in Negril, Jamaica almost 4 years ago.
We had a lot of different people coming from a lot of different places, and we wanted to keep it under or around $1,000, and Jamaica allowed us to do that.
Guests paid $1,000, which included air travel, a week hotel stay, and all-inclusive food and drinks.
they reserved one of the restaurants specifically for our party. So if we had had an actual wedding with the reception, we would have to pay between $50 and $100 per person just for dinner. And that's not something that we had to do because it was already included in the price when people paid for the wedding.
The couple had planned for 20 close family members to come, but 80 friends and relatives actually showed up, which wasn't a problem since they were paying. And because of all the people, the resort gave the couple their hotel room for free, which isn't uncommon. But they warned that everything won't be perfect.
So if you're somebody who, you think I want this, this, and this, and it has to be this, then you may not want to do a destination wedding because you don't know what you're going to get, and you just kind of have to be flexible because what are you going to do?
Yeah, you can't see it, you can't touch it, you're doing everything from a distance. And then in our case, it was in Jamaica, and by culture, they're just way more laid back.
Yeah, and
like,
so
no problem, mine.
Right, you have to just really be flexible.
Now, some couples prefer paying for their guest hotel stay, so if you're going to do that, keep the guest list small in order to save money. And remember, if you're marrying outside of the country, you usually have to be there for 48 hours before getting married. And if you exchange vows in Mexico, your marriage license will come back in Spanish, which you can get translated once it's mailed to the United States. Whether it's tennis, soccer, or football, mornings are looking pretty busy this week at Harrison High School, and it's all at a cost.
In order to play a sport, you have to pay $100. You have to be pretty rich to play some sports at Harrison.
For the first time, students are paying to play.
We're calling it a participation fee, and that will help offset some of the costs, which would be transportation to and from events, the cost of officials, the cost of lighting, the cost of custodians doing the cleaning the gyms, and so on and so forth. So it's just kind of to help offset those costs to try and give the district some relief.
I spoke with the girls' soccer team who say some of their former teammates aren't playing as a result.
They don't have the money.
The cuts that were made last spring, and it was a little bit over $2 million. Like every other district, we were faced with these cuts that had to be done for us to meet budget for the future.
I've only been out here for about 30 minutes and I'm already sweating. I look a mess. I have my sunglasses on. I don't know how these kids do it. But then tack on that they're a public school charging to play sports. A lot of people may have issue, but I did speak to one coach who said considering all the budget issues across the country, this is just a small price to pay.
If you take a look at the general educational environment right now, things couldn't get stretched much more. Something has to give, and I think it's too bad for schools that have to pay something like, say, $600 per varsity sport. I can see how that's a killer, but I think a few dollars is reasonable.
Students can get a refund if they decide to quit prior to the first game or match, and this is not the only budget issue. A majority of busing has been cut to the high school as well. For School Zone 9, I'm Jennifer Moore. Good evening, I'm Jennifer Moore. A jury today convicted a man of murdering his stepdaughter in a twisted family drama. David Robbins fatally attacked 24-year-old Yolanda Smith at a baseball field in Avondale when Smith tried to tell her mother that Robbins fathered her twins. Breaking news now, at least 2 people are hurt after a serious crash in Butler County. This crash is happening on State Route 73 just south of Eaton Road in Milford Township. 2 cars hit about 2 hours ago. Crews initially called 2 medical choppers to the scene, but weather conditions kept them from responding. Today 9 News is teaming up with the Salvation Army to help families in need. Channel 9 staffers are currently ringing bells at the Red Kettles outside the Newport Marketplace Kroger. They'll be there until 9 tonight. The Salvation Army's Christmas assistance programs support a toy shop for kids, holiday gift basket programs, and adopt-a-family programs. So come on out and meet us while helping the Salvation Army. Well, as you make those holiday cookies, an innocent taste test is proving to be harmful. It turns out eating that uncooked cookie dough at the bottom of the mixing bowl could put you at risk of salmonella or E. coli. Experts are even asking cookie makers to reformulate the dough to reduce the risk of infection. The Virginia Tech community is trying to get back to normal this evening after a deadly shooting on campus. How the reaction time may have prevented something similar to the 2007 massacre on campus. Plus, the Bengals are still ranking pretty high despite recent losses. A look at what Sports Illustrated is saying about the team next. And parents will be encouraging some bad behavior this weekend, telling their kids to throw their toys. How the fun event is helping others when we return.